Hey, everybody. Welcome to the All Things Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Nick Dorsey, and thanks for stopping by and checking us out today. Today, we have somebody I connected with earlier in the year. He reached out to me, and we had a couple conversations on the phone, and they were great. Got to learn a little bit about him and what he's trying to do and where he was in life then and where he is now. So it's been great. Everybody, please welcome to the show the founder of Troy Holt Consulting, Troy Holt. How's it going, Troy?
Nick, is going pretty good. I can't complain. Like I said a little bit earlier, we was talking before we started. We just experienced a hurricane here in Pensacola, so we're dealing with the aftermath. And the thing about a hurricane is it's one of those experiences where you really appreciate things that you don't have. And for example, electricity, you don't realize how much electricity, all things gratitude, you don't really realize how much you appreciate electricity until it's taken away. And remember, almost everything that we do is based on electricity and internet. And so, reading, if you got a Kindle, doing these podcasts, doing YouTube, all that requires internet and it requires electricity. So when that's taken away from you, when you get it back, and you don't have AC also, you really appreciate having electricity. So go ahead, Nick. What you was gonna say?
No, you're absolutely correct. And with you being in Florida, especially up in the Panhandle kind of area and everything with the storms up there, heat's one thing, but man, when you don't have AC when it's humid like it is after a storm, my goodness. Wow.
Yes.
I want to throw out something real quick before we move on. We got some people on here live already. I want to say our friend Damon's here. So
hey, Damon. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Damon's a great guy. Kim from up in Canada. He always does his coffee emojis and everything. So let's see what up.
Hello,
yeah, what's up, Tim? Great guy. Then Professor Pete, who was on the show last Saturday. So
Professor Pete, hello, sir.
Great guy. So before we start having a lot of the fun, because this is a very unscripted podcast and we get into some great things. Tell everybody what Troy Holt Consulting is about and what you can do and how you help out companies with their clients and gain some momentum and stuff.
So Troy Holt Consulting basically focuses on three areas. One area is leadership, one area is marketing, and another area is financial services. One of the things that I really like is the relationship marketing. And the reason being because there's a lot of people on LinkedIn. Everybody is about trying to get a sale, grow their business. Nothing wrong with those things. But one of the biggest pet peeve of mine is many people are transactional and not relational. And Nick, you and I have had this conversation before. A person will send you a request, and the next thing they know, they're pitching you their business. And so I try to teach people how to build relationships with people. That's one of my main focus, relationship marketing. And if you build relationships and make it relational versus transactional, you have a solid sales funnel, solid relationships. And it generates referrals, and also people will trust you, they'll believe in you, and they'll support you. And I look at it like this: if I've got a toothache, and I go to the dentist, and the dentist started writing me a prescription. Hey, Curtis, start writing me a prescription for metformin, which is a diabetic medication. Oh, that's a problem. That's going to be medical malpractice, because the doctor, what he did is he began to prescribe before he diagnosed. Prescription or diagnosis, you ask questions: who, what, when, where, why. Where does it hurt? How long has it been hurt? When did it hurt? You ask questions to find out more about the client that you're trying to serve, and then you give a prescription. Where most salespeople are committing sales malpractice because they get in your inbox and then they pitch you. but they haven't asked any questions. Do you need it? Do you want it? Can you afford it? No kind of questions. And so I try to educate people on it's about building relationships. And part of that building relationships, I take a three-pronged approach. I'm either going to appreciation is one prong, celebration is another prong, and consolation is the third prong. Appreciation. So appreciation, all things gratitude. There's a saying that says if you appreciate people, people do more. Just appreciate people for the things. Sometimes it's just little things, not big things. People they really feel good about when you appreciate them. The second prong is celebration. What's wrong with celebrating somebody else's accomplishment or achievements? Sometimes we tend to get jealous because somebody else is doing well or doing something that we want to do, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating others, genuinely celebrating others, especially when they get to the top. Most of us don't want to get to the top by ourselves. We want to celebrate with somebody. And then the last prong is consolation. And consolation is you console people during a time of loss. Everybody has a loss. A job loss, a spouse, a child, a pet, even children moving out and parents becoming empty nesters is a loss. So a divorce is all a loss. And so if you console people in their loss and comfort them, you celebrate their wins and comfort them in their losses, that helps build relationships with people. And when you do those things, is people know, hey, I'm just not a number. I'm just not a sale. I am one that you really care about, and I'm a human being.
Love it, Troy. That is great because you mentioned gratitude in there, being humble, and just helping out your fellow human. Just being there for them. I tell people ask me because I'm very fortunate in my leadership style where I get a lot of positive feedback from my teams. Mm-hmm. I'm very fortunate with all that. And some people ask me, how do you do it? What do you do? And I'm like, and you mentioned this in there. I go, I treat people like humans, not like numbers.
Right. Correct.
It's amazing when you just give a little bit of gratitude towards somebody, right, pat them on the back a little bit, tell them they're doing a good job. Even when they're wrong, it's how you phrase it. Say, you know what? This is great.
Right.
You were on the right line. You were going the right direction, but we just missed it right here.
Right.
What do we need to do to fix it? Did I give you the wrong scope of work? Did I not provide you the proper tools? Or is just something that we overlooked and we just need to fix it and tweak it a little bit? It's kind of like I try to take a little bit of the blame to make them feel like, it's right, not going, you're wrong, you need to
correct,
fix it.
Correct.
It's a trainable and teachable moment.
Correct.
God, I just love that. That's awesome, Troy. That is fantastic.
Well, I learned something, especially us as parents, and we have to do certain things to help motivate our children. Mm-hmm. And sometimes fussing is not always the best route or the most wise route. Sometimes it's listening and praising them in certain areas that they're doing good. And mm-hmm. it motivates them. Many times they don't listen to us because they think we're going to fuss all the time. And so sometimes we do fuss because we're parents. But, mm-hmm. It's just appreciating them and showing them, love. And even if they make mistakes, they know that, but it's just reinforcing it and really showing it in a way. And, in business and sales, kindness go a long way. I mean, just, basically, building a relationship is just showing kindness to people, and it doesn't cost anything. That's the thing. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to send somebody a text and say, hey, just checking on you. Mm, it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost you to send an email to a client or a potential client or prospect. Hey, just want to check on you, see how you was doing. Nick, what about them Seahawks? Seahawks won the other night.
Yeah, there you go.
Not business, just genuine care and concern with people. And that goes a long way. You rarely find that, not only in business, but in a lot of people, because in today's society, most of the time we're self-absorbed, and we don't take the time to care about people and check on people. But when we do that, and we're not trying to sell people, it goes a long way.
You sent me something in the mail after my granddaughter was born, and it was just out of the blue. Was
Right.
not expecting it, and it was just
Right.
like, whoa, and it was great because, let's be honest, I mean, at the moment where my position is in my career, what I'm doing, you're not selling me anything.
Right.
I'm not using your services or anything, but what you're doing is building that foundation, because
Correct.
it's one of those things that maybe 5 years from now, I remember Troy. I remember this. I remember how he
Correct.
was, and all of a
Correct.
sudden I come to you because I need some help, or
Correct.
I'm going in a direction where you would fit well for me. So I absolutely agree with that. I mean, and it's anybody I deal with, from the pest control company to a big general contractor who's doing a $90 million job for me, which I've had before. We build relationships.
Correct.
We make sure the relationships are there,
Yeah.
and we're almost family during that stuff. And that's how I run those projects. And they figure that out pretty quick before we sign the contracts, because I have to trust them and they need to trust me, and we need to be on the same page throughout the whole thing. And people will argue with me about it and everything, and I don't care. That's how I run them, and it's been very successful. But it comes down to is because I treat them like human beings. And it's the bottom line.
Right. That's the only way. I mean, one thing that I do, and I need to do it more on LinkedIn, but I do it a lot on Facebook, is I scroll through my feed, and I'm behind because I have so many. But I look for somebody who has having a birthday, having a anniversary, or even a death. And like I sent you the card, Nick. I find people that have had a death in the family. I send them a message. Hey, I offer my condolences. I'm sorry for your loss. And it could be somebody I'm just friends with on Facebook. I don't know them personally. Sorry for your loss. May I get a good mailing address? And I'll turn around and send them a card, especially if they put some pictures of that loved one on Facebook, and create a personalized card from my phone and send them a card with that person's picture or a couple pictures on there, just as a memorial that they can put on the refrigerator.
Yep.
The person is passing. And I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm genuinely, I feel the burden because of the loss. And those things, people remember those things. Just like you remember your granddaughter. Your grandchildren are prizes. So yeah. Because you can send them home and you're not responsible for them. So you can spoil them and then tell parents to get them, and you don't have to worry about them anymore.
Sometimes they live with you and you sugar them all up and they go upstairs. So that was our situation for a little bit. So I was like, oh, but it was, like, it was cherishable moments. Those were just awesome moments, and you love those. Professor Pete said, kindness is a practice I love to do every morning. Just takes a minute or two. He's absolutely correct, and it's just, and Damon, relationships are key.
Yes.
So, and that's the big thing. I mean, I think you know who Damon is and his company, Your Way, and what they do. I mean, his company needs to build relationships, because they're helping them out, rebrand their company to sell it, but he needs to gain those relationships with those owners, because those owners who don't know them have to trust them and build that relationship to get that going. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 year, job that Damon's working with those companies to help them for the next steps, So it's it's interesting talking to different people, how they view this too. There are some people who are just straight, boom, this is it, this is how it is, because they don't want any time of the day. Or there's other people that want to build it and know, you know what? And I always tell some of my vendors who we constantly buy stuff from, don't become rich off me today. Become rich off me down the road. Because if you have that attitude, you're going to keep our business for years.
Correct.
So let those numbers come in, let all that build up, because you'll get more and more and more, So it's crazy. And bringing this up today, I don't know if you saw, we have a a common connection in Ira Bowman, and he put a post today about people just doing sales pitches right to your DM box on LinkedIn. So this is ironic you brought that up, and
It's a pet. Nick,
it's funny, I get them all the time, Troy. And here's the greatest one. After looking at your profile, you have a very impressive profile and background. I sell da 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 da. Do you have time to talk? I'm like, I don't have that anywhere in my profile. Did you actually even read my profile? And then I'll just send something back really quick and go, hey, thanks for the message, but you should read my profile and understand I have nothing to do with what you're doing. I go, takes a couple minutes.
Or Nick, there's some people, we do the same thing, and they're sending you, the message instead of, just really trying to get to know you. Hey, let's get together for a virtual a coffee. Professor Pete just said something. Love the idea of the mail card. It's a lost art. Correct. This is who told me this. Shay Rowbottom. She is on LinkedIn. I'm sure you guys know her. She's an influencer on LinkedIn. And she told me, she said, snail mail is one of the best ways to get in touch with business owners because they're so busy. And imagine you trying to get, there's a big deal you've been trying to call, and you've been trying for months. You've been trying to get in touch with this particular person that makes the decision maker. And you've been months, and you've been getting the gate people, you get to run around. And so everybody does basically the same thing. But imagine if you send them a card and make it the card, design the card, make it funny. Make it maybe say the card says trying to get my foot in the door, and put a picture with a foot in the crack, trying to crack a door. Yeah. And just a small message. So once that person get the card, number one, they're gonna laugh.
Yep.
They're gonna think this is funny. This made me chuckle. This made me laugh because, and number two, they stood out. They did something different.
Yep.
They may give you a call because, hey, you made me laugh. I appreciate the call because you stood out. You did something different. That's what relationship marketing is all about.
I love that. I love that aspect because, like you said, for me, I bring a lot of humor in my teams. I have a lot of fun with what I do.
Right.
So if I received a card like that with somebody's foot partially in the door, with a little message, I'd just be like, I'm just going to message this guy just because he gave a good effort here.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, and you never know what it turns into,
that's just a simple idea, but I do those type of things, because I have a system that I can use. I can send cards. So sometimes I put a picture on a billboard with somebody on a billboard, and then these are outside apps that I use, but somebody on a billboard. Now, just like Shay, I did it publicly because she mentioned it publicly. She made a post. I put a picture of her. I took a picture of her and put her in the Forbes magazine and put it in the card and sent it to her. You know what I'm saying? So
that's awesome.
You're right. And she said she had been, what was the word? She had been, this was her goal to be on Forbes. This was her, I didn't know that, but it inspired her. And it was to make inspiration and also a chuckle. But now let me say this. When I try to, on social media, when I try to post, I have basically a strategy. My strategy is, number one, I'm going to try to educate you. Number two, I'm going to try to encourage you. Number three, I'm going to try to educate you. And number four, I'm going to try to earn or save. So I alliterate that. So educate, entertain, encourage, and earn. We should be doing the education, entertain, and encouragement 75% of the time. We're giving. The earn or sell, talking about our business, should only be 25% of the time, because we don't want to be talking about ourselves, talking about our business. We want to be giving value, giving something. So sometimes I make a simple post social media just to make you laugh. I'm entertaining. It's nothing sale. I just want to get you to laugh. When we laugh, we take down our guards.
Absolutely.
Our guards come down when if you can get somebody and Nick, we both know this. Before we were married and we were trying to talk to some young lady, take her out. If we can make her laugh, we've got it. We've got it in the door. We can make her laugh
in the door. Yep.
So it's the same. It's the same concept, and many people don't realize that social media is more psychology than technology.
Mm-hmm.
They get caught up in the technology, but it's more psychology. Psychology is building people up, encouraging people. That's part of psychology. You know, making people laugh. They take down their guards, and so those are the kind of things that I help and I coach and I train people and show them how to use the card system, different ideas and strategies, you know, to just not to sell, but to build relationships.
You know what I like about it? It's you're taking part of the old school philosophy with the mail stuff and everything, and you're putting new school techniques into it.
Right.
And everybody's so new school now, and everything's text message, social media. You're almost like taking the old school, but it's like thinking outside the box.
Correct.
You know, and that's fantastic. It really is. You know.
Let me say this. Here's just a little tip. When on LinkedIn, so when people's birthdays come up, instead of sending the standard birthday text in the inbox, send a gift, a funny gift.
Absolutely.
You know, just a funny gift. That's I do as a couple that I use as a funny gift. I'm making you laugh. You gonna remember that. Troy sent me a gift, made me laugh.
Yeah.
But everybody, just 90% of the people are probably sending the standard quick text, or if you can sing on mobile, you can record a voice memo. Sing a happy birthday. You go, you stand out. Just little tips to stand out, but it calls you. People say you took the time to do something different and to acknowledge me, and people appreciate that.
No, absolutely. You know, some people send me. People I don't even know will just send me a message, and it's an audio one, and it's just like, and I'll send them back an audio one, and I'm like, hey, thank you for taking a couple minutes out of your day just to send me this. This is great. Because I know a lot of people in these messages and DMs and everything write the standard same message to everybody, and that's fine. At least they're giving a little bit of effort to going back. But what you're doing when you just personalize it just that little bit, it's amazing how much of a different reaction you get from people.
Correct. Someone sent me a message, and I'm paraphrasing, but I chuckled, and it says, "I wanted to send something wonderful and amazing." It was 3 adjectives, but it said, "Elias, I just send. I want to connect," but it made me laugh. And I sent a message back and said, "Hey, I like this. It made me chuckle. It was so funny, you know." And so it stood out, you know. And so it's all about, you know, standing out in a noisy world and communicating and showing people that you care and you concern. And if you can show people you care and concern, Maya Angelou says that people forget how you. What you've done for them, they'll forget what you said, but they never forget how you made them feel. And I'm all about, personally, I'm all about making an impact as well as an income. If I can make an impact, my impact will be a legacy, where income could be short term, but the impact can be long term, and it can be maybe go beyond my life. And so I try to look at making an impact as well as an income. And that's why I think more people, we might not have the success in the short term, but in the long term, those people that think like that will have the impact. Thank you, Penny. They will have the impact because, and Nick, my personal desire is when I pass, is when people come to my funeral and they say, and the thing that I want them to say is, Troy always tried to make an impact. That's what I want my legacy to be. That I always try to make an impact, whether small or great. I always try to make an impact.
Absolutely. That's a great goal. It really is. And, that's what I try to do with this podcast because, I put it out there because I asked a bunch of people, what should I name it? What should I do? How should I do this? And the name came up for some people in in groups that I go with, All Things Gratitude, because they said, this is who you are. This is how you come across. This is what you do for people. And like you said here, this is so unscripted. So I want to have fun. We have laughs.
Right.
There's podcasts where they've been all jokes and we're just laughing around. Then we've had some really serious ones. But if those can make an impact, any one of them, somebody's having a bad day and we can make them laugh and it helps them out, that's a win.
True.
If we had a podcast where some people are talking about some past experiences that were really bad, abusive relationships and everything, if somebody that's having mental illness heard that and it helped them, that's a win.
Yeah,
if somebody's watching you today and just like, oh, this is how I need to conduct my sales online. This is how I do this. And they gain a sale or they win something. That's a win. I mean, I'm not here to change the world, but I'm here to help if I can.
Yeah.
And like you said, somewhere down the road, if some syndicated show or something finds us and they really like it and they want to drop some bucks towards it, then fantastic. But that's not the main goal at the moment. It's just to enjoy some great connections, have some great conversations, just let it flow naturally and just enjoy our time, and I think that's what you're trying to do because I know your personality.
Yeah.
You have some jokester in you. You have a lot of fun in you. So when you do these cards and you do this, that's generally who you are. It's not a front thing. That's just who Troy is. So that's awesome.
My title, Chief Encouragement Officer.
I love it.
That's me. Outside of social media, that fits me. And I'm a big clown, Nick. I joke with my wife all the time. I mess with her all the time, and she my wife would tell you I'm always clowning and making jokes. Now I'm a serious person, but life shouldn't be where we're so serious and we don't play and we don't have fun and we don't have a good time. So in the midst of that, me and my wife could have a serious conversation and I'll say something funny. That's just my personality. Yep. And so, or I'll find something funny. My wife used to get mad at me and my son a lot of times in church because me and my son would see something funny and we're loud laughing. And she's getting embarrassed because we're laughing, we would see something funny. So baby was funny, so I laugh, And so it's just one of those things that just, enjoy life. And I love the title. Yes, Professor. Thank you, sir. I love the title, All Things Gratitude. I love that title.
Thank you.
I wish I would have came up something a little bit more creative for my podcast. I just said Troy Talks, but I wish I would have really thought about the title and came up with something maybe to kind of fit my personality. But just like you, my podcast, when I do interviews, I want it to be a interview / conversation. I don't want it to be where I'm checking a box and I'm going through. I want it to be a flow and just a conversation and just finding out about that person from start to middle to finish. And I think more people, that becomes more genuine. I think that attracts more people because they learn a couple of nuggets. They see the person is genuine, the person is real. They're not airy, stuck up. They can relate and identify.
My buddy come up here. I can back this 100%. His sense of humor does get him in trouble with his wife. I 100% been there and seen it. So, what's up, Josh? How's it going? I used to work with him in Yakima, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, so way over there. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so, right. Cash, we can get carried away sometimes with our spouse, joking, and we get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm truly, I got to say this, I'm truly grateful. My wife and I, this past Monday, we had our 29th anniversary.
Yep. So happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I'm truly grateful for her for putting up with me and dealing with me for 29 years.
Yeah.
But I've been irritating her and joking, and sometimes she laugh. But many times I do irritate her sometimes with my jokes.
I think all husbands do that at some point. So just part of it. But no, Troy, I'm that way too. I'm that guy in like big serious meetings at work and everything when tensions are going high, and I just know the right moment to crack something, and everybody's like, oh, you can just feel the air come out of the room, that tension. And somebody, I did it the other day, and somebody said, "Took you long enough to crack one." I'm like, "Well, sorry, man. I was just waiting for the right moment."
Right.
So, well, that but you know what? That's what makes it fun. I tell my team all the time. I go, guys, listen. Actually, when we're in the office, we're on the corporate side, so we're still working from home. A lot of people. But it's like when we're in the office, like we almost spend more time at work than we do with our family.
True.
I go, granted, you're at home for 12 to 16 hours or a little more, but guess what? You're sleeping for 7 to 8 of those hours. So you only got a partial time. So I always tell them, I'm like, listen, let's make the best out of this. Let's have as much fun as we can. I go, we all have to work.
Right.
If we want to live the lifestyle we want to live, we have to work. Okay. So let's get past that right now. I go, so then we're here. Let's just enjoy it. Let's enjoy each other as much as we can. We don't have to be best friends.
Correct.
We just have to get along. Let's have fun and let's just do this. And God, the moral of the team, it just makes it so much better when you can get to that point with everybody and just enjoy the ride and just, and I tell them, you don't have to be best friends with them, but just think about it. Just the more you say good morning to people and you consistently say that every morning and just be consistent, just good morning to people walking by, high five people, knuckle them, whatever we need to do. It's amazing how you change attitudes around you because people tend to follow a leader. They find the herd and stick with it, and it's herd mentality almost. But saying is there, Troy, you can kill people with kindness. They will finally give in to you.
Yes,
and
I agree with that.
I try to do that all the time, and
I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Kill them with kindness. Now, Nick, what do you think is with your team is the biggest challenge? What is one of the biggest challenges that you think that they face daily?
The biggest challenge we face right now is the average age on my team is 25. It's their first jobs out of college.
Okay.
And so being away from them, we've been out of the office for almost 7 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get a lot of that one-on-one training and having those teachable moments and everything virtually, it gets tough sometimes because I'm on like between 6 to 8 Zoom calls a day, trying to deal with my team, trying to get my work done. There's just a lot going on there. And I think if we're in the office and because people feed off emotion and facial expressions and body expressions from people that you necessarily can't get off Zoom calls all the time.
Right.
So I think just the struggle of just trying to teach them to become better team members to help further their career and help them get up the line so they can make more money, get promoted and everything. It's just it's been a little bit of a struggle doing that virtually. And this is coming from somebody who's never worked from home before. So I'm so used to being around people with them in the field, boots on the ground. So that's been a struggle for me. I could tell you that for a fact. And my team's been great. They are awesome.
Right.
They understand. I got put into a position where a counterpart got let go, so my workload doubled.
Right.
And it just made it increasingly harder. I oversee 142 properties across the nation now.
Okay.
So it's a lot of load that's put on me. But my team has been great. They've stepped up. They want to do a lot of the work. They want to help as much as possible. And I want to reward them. That's the thing. I want to reward them. I want to take them to lunch. I want to do that stuff. Yeah. We're just kind of in the way of the world right now where I can't do that stuff. And that's what kills me because I'm that type of person. Employee engagement's so big for me. Yeah. So I think that's been a lot of the struggle and just the unknown. I
Yeah.
think the unknown for the team, it's just our company's thriving right now. So there's no doubt about there's no issue right there. The company's
Okay.
going nowhere. We're just adding properties and growing and growing and growing. So that there's no issue there. But the unknown, especially when you have a lot of younger kids,
Yeah.
first jobs, they haven't been in the working world before. Just
Right.
trying to make them understand. I'm like, calm down, don't panic. This
Yeah.
happens everywhere.
Yeah.
This stuff happens not with COVID, but just in general.
Yeah.
These things happen. It's just part of the workforce,
Right.
and so it makes it a little more difficult. But I mean, like I said, when you have a bunch of people with great attitudes, it makes it easier.
True.
It could be much worse. It could be much worse, but they're a great team, and you know what? I just love them to death because, like I always say, they're the reason I get paid. It's not what I do; it's what they do.
Yep.
They make me look good. All I'm doing is transferring data and information across. So if I can help train them and help them get better, it helps everybody going all the way up the line. So and it improves them. So I think that is awesome.
I heard Simon Sinek said this. Um, most leaders, uh, it is, Damon, it is very healthy. Most leaders want to take all the credit for the good,
Mm-hmm.
and then put the blame or the bad on someone else. And he was saying a good leader will always put the. I remember. I just thought about this. I remember I was watching a interview. It was Magic Johnson, and they were interviewing Magic Johnson, and it was right around when Kobe and Shaq were feuding.
Mm-hmm.
And Magic Johnson said that when he was playing ball, he was the new kid, the superstar. He said, but he always deferred it to Kareem's team.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was Kareem's team. Kareem was on the downside of his career, but he still respected and he always deferred the credit to Kareem and things like that. And I think, just like you said, my team is making me shine. It ain't me. My team is making me look good. And I think they appreciate that more because you're not making it about yourself. You're making it about them, and you care about them, and they will respect you and stick with you. I used to manage a Sprint store. I had a young lady that was working for me, and she quit. Well, another young lady, they had became close, and the one young lady, she left. So she told my other employee, that she needed to leave. So she left and went and got a job with a competitor, and she said she had to leave in a week. I said, how much are they paying you per hour? See you later, Rodney. I said, how much are they paying you per hour? She said, $9 an hour. I said, well, you're making 11 here. Go back. Now I'm telling her she's leaving me. Go back there and see if you can get more money.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what else do you have? I said, find out what you have. I'll sit down with you. I said, because I'm the type of person I care about you enough. If it's something better, and I told her, if you would have talked to me first and we could sit down and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about leaving. I would have told you we could have went through it, and I would say, hey, that's a better deal. You should go. Or I would say, no, I think you should wait. Well, anyway, she ended up leaving, and she worked about 3 months, and then she came back. She was going to leave the other competitor, so she called me and said, could she have an old job back? I said, well, let me check with my district manager, and she said that I think they're gonna fire me. She said, I'm just not gonna go in. I said, no, you go in. You put in a notice, say you resigning. Don't just not show up. Mm-hmm. She listened to that. And she came back and told me, she said, I appreciate you for telling me to go in and resign and not just quit.
Yeah.
And so it's we, the people that we leave, that lead, if we can show them that outside of, it's just not about us and about what we're trying to accomplish, if we can help them to reach their goals, that goes a long way with them.
I tell you what, when I did an exit interview with one of my companies that I left, they're like, man, when you were here, you accomplished X, Y, and Z. And they said, that should make you really proud. And I looked at them, I'm like, it was just my job description. That's what you guys paid me to do.
Right.
I go, right on, cool. I go, and they're like, what? That wasn't the answer we're expecting to get. I go, no, but what I'm proud about is I successfully trained this many people and they promoted within the company, or even moved on to another company and made their career better, made their lives better. I go, that's what I'm proud of.
Yeah. Making an impact
is the day-to-day work. It is. Yeah. I mean, yes, I do take pride in what we do day to day. I mean that, but to me, that's just part of my job. But if I can improve somebody's career, somebody's life, if I can help them get promoted, if I can help them build within the company, or even if they go somewhere else, but it makes their life better and makes their career better, then that's the major wins for me. That's the way I look at it. I mean, people did that for me, so I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't turn around and do that for them.
Right.
So, but like you said, I've had people come up and say, hey, Nick, I'm going to leave. It's X amount of money more. I said, okay, that's cool, man. That's awesome. What is it? Tell me about it. I'm generally happy. Inside, I'm kind of like, oh, this sucks. What we're going to do with this position. But in the outside, I'm like, what is it? And then I will tell them, I go, listen, can you do me one thing before you put in notice or anything, before you make a decision? Yeah, I go write down 10 positives and negatives about working here and try to find 10 positive or negative about this other company, or questions about what you got to look into, and come back to me and let's talk about it.
Right.
Or if it's 5, because I'll ask them stuff. I go, what's their benefits there? What's your copay? What's your deductible? A lot of younger people don't think about that stuff, and they don't realize how much that adds up to.
Yeah, true.
Like when I worked at a casino, they used to give us free food. Okay. You're looking at $10 or $15 a day of probably free food you're getting that you would have paid out of your pocket if you went out to eat.
Yeah.
So I always do the $10 mark. I go, guys, you got to realize you have $200 a month of free food. Think about that you don't have to pay out. So is this $2 raise over the course of that month really worth losing that $200?
Right.
And people would always leave that. Then they would call later, just like, oh my God, you're right about all this. It's so much. I know, but that's why I talk to you about it, but when it comes down, bottom line, it's up to the individual person after you tell them. But life is all, life's about choice, and life's about, a lot of times, the right, I know the right, the wrong, I know the wrong. The younger people don't. And we've all been there. We've had to fail to be able to get to the next step.
Right.
So,
true.
But you just got to support them through it.
True.
You have to support them through it. So awesome, man. This is great. I love what you're doing. How's the podcast going?
It's going pretty good. This month, I've got recorded podcasts I need to get out, but I just got behind on marketing. Just trying to do so many things, and so I'm gonna get back on in October. I'm gonna put out more of the recorded podcast I got, and so I have so much going on, and just trying to podcast and business, work, family, ministry, just too many things going on. So but I've enjoyed more. In the beginning, I was doing solo podcasts, and I figured out there's a lot of things that I can discuss and I talk about it. I got experience, but in order for me to talk about it like that, I have to be inspired. And there were sometimes I just didn't have no inspiration. I could pull I got notes and stuff, and I could talk about it, but I had to be inspired. So there were many times I just didn't have an inspiration. And so then I started doing a little bit of research, and I started figuring out, one good way is to get guests. So with guests, I don't have to come up with the subject. The guest is the subject. And so my podcast now, I haven't done a solo podcast in, I don't know, 8-9 months. Everything now has just been have been guests, on the podcast. But it's scheduling the time to record is another challenge, because it's my schedule. So I will probably be even doing even more, but it's just trying to schedule everything.
Yeah, I get you. And I remember when we first met, you were doing solo ones then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's awesome to see you involved, man. I'm glad it's becoming successful for you and you've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing. It's like you said earlier, celebrate somebody else's achievements and everything. And all these I'm competing against how many people with podcasts, and I don't care. Right on. I wish you all the success in the world. Yes. My buddy Jordan has a very successful podcast. I wish him all the world.
Right.
Our friend Damon does a roundtable. I wish him all the thing.
Right.
My friend Kelly Robinson has one. I wish her all the luck and goodwill and all that stuff, because it's just, we have to. I mean, why? Why try to put people down, and why try to intentionally hurt them? Why? I just never understood that. I mean, it's just,
I don't either. And everybody, everybody has their niche that they're most effective in, or area, and so, some people do well. They connect with certain demographics, certain industries and stuff like that. So everybody, have their own strategy or reason. But one thing I will say this, podcasting is a niche that it does open up doors for you to even do interviews for people that you probably would have never interviewed.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just a small niche of people, and there's people, they're very successful, they've accomplished a lot, are willing to come on your podcast and be a guest, and so I realized that just the opportunities that it has opened to interview, certain people.
It's crazy because some people message me asking me if they can be on the podcast, and I go look, and I have no clue who they are. And I look at their profiles, I'm like, man, these are very successful, high-end people. And I go, I just have this little podcast I do out of my den. Right on. It's kind of like cool because it doesn't matter where you're at. It's all your demographics. Hit all of them.
I think it's more of, a lot of people that do, I guess, they're trying to get their name out. Nothing wrong with that. But also, they want to conversate and share their message. Share their what their message and what they're about and things like that. And so, a podcast is a great way. And I have been wanting to do a podcast. I started my podcast September of 2019. I have been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. And I was on Cheryl Jones. She's on LinkedIn. And so she was, I was watching one of her videos. She was on one of her live videos, and she mentioned about Anchor. She said, all you got to do is do it, download the app Anchor. And I did the research, and I downloaded the app Anchor, and I started doing the podcast. And the rest is history.
I was first on a podcast with Russ Johns, who we had on Tuesday, the Pirate Broadcast. Right. And he got my wheels just spinning on that. And I talked about it for such a long time. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it then. I'm going to do it then. Finally, my buddy Ira called me out on a post about doing it. I'm like, fine, we're doing it. I came right in, download StreamYard, and bam.
Right. Yes.
I'm like, well, guess I can't go back now.
No, and I see you've had a very distinguished guest, and you're doing, what is it, twice a week?
Yeah, after next week, I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to try to figure out a couple new days and times, but it's been awesome. It's been absolutely awesome. So
I have trouble just trying to get the one a week, and Nick is doing twice a week. And I'm like, Nick,
like Russ, he does it every day. I'm like, how?
I've been on I'm a pirate too. So
I guess.
So you're right. He does it every day. He sure does.
Yeah. So a Secrets Girl is going to say I'm going back on the Pirate Podcast, but we don't know what day yet. But
okay, gotcha.
I'll be making another appearance on there, but it's going to be awesome. I mean, Russ is a great guy.
He really is.
yeah, he's just great. So, hey, Troy, we're getting up there in time. So I like to keep it a half hour, but I never make it. It always goes well past because when you have a great conversations, really quick, our friend here, Dr. Ken, just jumped in. Hey, Ken, how you doing, man?
Ken, how you doing, sir?
This guy's a great follow. If you haven't followed him, jump on and see
okay,
him.
I definitely will. Okay.
Great videos. Yeah. He's just a great guy overall. So really appreciate him. He's been so supportive for me. So I really appreciate that. So so is everybody who's been in the comments. I mean, these are all people I know for the most part. They've been great. And I just appreciate them because they're just so grateful. So they're just so nice. You know, these people are just awesome. So thank you, everybody. So hey guys, go find Troy. Find him. Find his podcast. Troy Talks. Be coming out again in October.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. So yeah, check that out. Find him on LinkedIn. Just tell them everywhere they can find you, Troy.
Yes, you can find me again, as Nick said. My podcast is Troy Talks. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Troy Talks, Troy_Talks. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Troy Holt. I'm also on Instagram at Troy_Talks, Troy Talks. So you can find me there. My Facebook page, I have a multiple Facebook page, but you can find my Troy Talks Facebook page also on Facebook. So I'm all over social media, but would love to connect, would love to reach out. Some people may even, and Nick, I'm still wanting to get you on as a guest also. Anyone wants to be a guest, we just got to schedule the time, Nick. That's the challenge, scheduling the time.
Well, you got my number, so you know how to get a hold of me easily. Yep.
And if you open to Saturdays would be good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you can find me at those spots, and I'll be more than glad to connect, build relationships. Anything I can do to help or support, please reach out.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, please connect with Troy. Come find the All Things Gratitude podcast on our LinkedIn page. We have one. I try to navigate 2 pages at a time. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, but we got a page out there, so come find us.
Right.
Up there in the corner above your head, come find us on YouTube. Like my friend Erica says, smash the bell for us and subscribe to our page. And come check out all our videos. And then also come find me on LinkedIn. You know, I mean, you find me, I'm cracking jokes. I'm throwing emojis on people's pages. I try to have a lot of fun. So and then this LinkedIn Live has been great. So Troy,
Nick, before you go, I have LinkedIn Live, but I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet. I have to do it.
Got to get it going, man.
Yes.
Hey, send me a link and we can do something together. We can get you rolling.
All right.
But hey, Troy, it's been an honor to have you on. You've been one great connection. People, please connect with him. I mean, he's just been a great guy. We've had a couple conversations, like text messages. I remember when they had the shooting on the base over there, and I texted you, and I'm like, "Hey, are you good? Are you good with everything?" And you're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, I'm glad to tell you about it. Stay away from there."
Yeah, true.
So, you know, it's just stuff like that. Just building relationships. We don't have to talk every day. We don't have to say everything, but we generally respect each other, and that is what the greatest thing is, you know. And so we know we can be there for each other when we need each other. So, Troy, it's been an honor to have you on.
Thank you.
So glad. You know, life's going good. I know there's been ups and downs and challenges, but you know, we all go through it, and you're just going right through it, making it through. Happy anniversary, man. Just happy to hear that, and just enjoy the day and enjoy life, man. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Everybody, thank you for stopping by who's commented and watch us live. Be sure I'll post this tomorrow, so make sure you find the share on that. Tuesday is our next scheduled podcast. Kelly Robinson of Pawn and Nose will be on. So come check us out, listen about some recruitment and what she can do. And Kelly's just fun. She's a great person. So
go Kelly.
Kelly. It's going to be a good time. And everybody have a great night.
You too.